So we're trying something new with Coffee with the Counselor. We're going to try to blast it out this way and see if we have some engagement. So hopefully you like this month's topic. And this month we're talking, what'd you say?
Decoding middle school slang.
So our agenda, want to take it?
Yeah. So obviously we'll introduce ourselves. We'll go over an overview of just what our topics are and what this topic looks like, common slang terms, and what the translation for those terms is, when you should be concerned about those slang terms, and then how to teach your kids about time and place for using slang and when it may or may not be appropriate.
All right. So I'm Rachel Leinweber. I have the end of the alphabet. I should always let Kaylee go first on this one, but it's what I do.
It is. And I'm Kaylee Dalton. I am the counselor for the first part of the alphabet. And then check us out on any of our social media accounts. We've got Facebook, Instagram, our webpage, and then now our YouTube channel, also home to the podcast.
All right. So what is slang? Slang is a type of language that consists of words and phrases that are regarded as very informal, more common in speech and writing, and are typically restricted to a particular context or group of people. So right now we're talking about our young people, our middle school Cal-Weeman students, and even our Kelso-Cowlitz County kiddos. What is text speak? It's a digital language, abbreviation, acronyms, things of that nature. You probably use them in your day-to-day life if you're texting and sometimes even emailing.
Mm-hmm. So the purpose that it serves, when people are using slang and those more informal language, it's supposed to build their group identity. So it gives a sense of belonging and connection to that group. It kind of builds that us community. It's more creative and informal. If you think about that language, you can get pretty colorful with it. And it's just more personal when you're less formal. It's less professional. And so you're just more personal, more engaging in that way.
Yeah. So I actually got permission from this TikTok YouTuber to play 2 of his videos. I'll just play one on here and we'll link the 2 videos in the comments or bio of the video. But it is a young lady
angry freak out,
explaining the slang.
slightly, ugly person, somebody you like, attractive demon, old person, intending to upset, good, upset me, be quiet, trying to be cool.
Okay, so, and again, we did have permission from him to share that with you, which for me, as I'm reaching out, I thought was pretty nifty.
Yeah.
So there is a part 2 where she's explaining it, and then people had even asked them to explain, like use it in a sentence, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But we will link that. We won't waste your time. Hopefully this isn't a waste of time, but we won't just play you videos on here.
And on the YouTube channel, their account will be linked in the show notes for this episode. So if you want to check out more of their content, we want to make sure we give them a plug since we're using their video. Mm-hmm. So decoding text speak. This also includes emojis. So don't forget about those. You might see text speak showing up in texting, different messenger apps, social media, and then unfortunately even emails. So sometimes we might say LOL in an email if you're of mine and Rachel's generation. But we do see some of those other newer text speaks showing up in student emails, and not everyone knows what those mean. Yeah.
So we're going to jump into when should you be concerned? So when there's disrespectful or hurtful content, which we'll explain some of that, when they should be using or you should be using professionalism, the harmful acronyms and the name calling, misunderstandings, the in-group versus the out-groups, intentionally hidden meanings, improper relationships or boundaries, and the alternate meanings. And I'm going to tell you guys, I had probably too much fun figuring out what's being used at Cowweeman and what they should and shouldn't be saying, because I got a lot of, ooh, don't say that. So it was very interesting.
Yes, we learned a lot.
We learned a lot. All right, so jump right in. There's new and confusing, and so I think this list is kind of a lot, and there's really probably no need to, need to back it up, little.
Went forward.
We probably don't need to read them all to you, but we'll hit some key ones that we're hearing here at Cowweeman and that are, well, just kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So
Not clear.
Yeah. So many of you as parents have probably heard or seen 6, 7. And we have some kids that think it's hilarious and other kids who are what others would say crashing out about it. So they're melting down and having tantrums because it doesn't make sense. And they're right. It literally refers to a song lyric about a basketball player, but then kids say it's just kind of fun and they go like this. And I learned just the other day that it's like when you say 6 or 7, 6, 7, and it's just nonsense.
Yep.
So
total nonsense.
Yeah. There's a lot on here.
Yeah.
So we hear a lot of low key. But we heard that high key is not actually
used.
something.
And there is no just key. There's no middle. It's either low key or high key, but usually low key.
But you can be mid, which is just like mediocre.
Yeah. We have heard crash out a lot. So if a kid says, I'm going to crash out, usually it means they're going to have a tantrum. They're going to have some sort of meltdown. They're going to overreact. They're going to blow up. So that one we do hear quite a bit. I'm sure some of you parents and guardians have been called bruh recently, myself included, from my 6-year-old. So that generally is just like, it's not good or bad. It's just like how we may have used dude at some point. Like, what's up, bruh?
And I will also say this gruz and unk. I was out doing lunch duty the other day and somebody said, hey, unk. And that means I'm old.
Yeah.
So, and then I later learned that auntie, so unk and auntie mean you're an old person. So yeah, there's a lot on here. Some of them, you guys have heard, some of them maybe not. So just take a peek, but we'll jump into worrisome because that's more where we're living right now. All right. You want to?
Sure. So, some of these are actually, a lot of them are what would be considered text speak and things that you would probably see in like a message or a messenger app. The big thing is some of them are soliciting information. So like the first one, ASL, that's someone asking for age, sex, and location. So if that's coming from a stranger or in an online forum, that could be a sign that someone's trying to get more information about your student. And so that would be a time to be concerned because they're information seeking. They're trying to get personal information. It does not mean American Sign Language in this context.
Right.
Yes.
Body count is one that we've heard some, and that means the number of people that they have slept with. And so while they maybe don't have a body count, they're still talking about it. And so I think that's something to just keep ears and eyes open for when you're seeing that in text or online gaming, or hearing it. Some of the things that are more insulty, chopped, chuz, giat,
NPC.
Yes, those are more even thought right here. Those are insults that are thrown around and they think they're being sneaky because they think other people don't know what they're saying. So, and even like sweat, if somebody is sweating, they're trying too hard. So they're trying to insult under the radar.
Yeah. Same with thirsty. They're trying to say like, oh, they're thirsty, they're desperate for attention. So that's another one where a normal word like thirsty can also mean I need a drink of water, but they're using it to insult somebody. And so that's when we would want to be careful, because kids hear these and they're insulted and they respond accordingly because they feel insulted.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all ones that are kind of more of the name calling, potentially hurtful comments.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to almost touch on all of these just because they are pretty worrisome. So the KYS, the KMS, we see that come up a lot in kids will have notes back and forth in Google Docs, or they'll email back and forth, or even in their texting. I've had parents bring phones and say, this person sent KYS, or somebody said, I want to KMS. And so they're saying they want that person to kill yourself, or that they're going to kill myself. So I think watching for that like you're not going to hear it as much. It would be something that you would see if you're checking text messages, checking those online forums and things like that. So that one, we get involved pretty quickly. We actually get what's called a bark alert when those pop up, and we get the document and call the students in as soon as we're able to. And so that's one where we're highly active.
Mm-hmm. Another one that we hear a lot is rage bait or rage baiting. 6-7 has more recently become what's considered rage bait.
Mm-hmm.
It's just anything that's being used to make someone else angry or upset. It's kind of poking the bear behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of kids will talk about, oh, he rage baited me, and that meant he did something to provoke me, or certain words or actions are considered rage bait. So that one has been huge lately, especially with different incidents. So if you hear about, your student says someone is rage baiting me, that might be something to like contact the school about, so that we can prevent any incidents from happening, because that usually can escalate into something that could potentially be harmful, like a fight or bullying behavior. So we want to make sure to handle rage bait if we know that it's occurring.
Yeah.
Saibow.
That's the first one that I got. Oh, don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw in the video, that means to tell someone to shut up. So it actually stands for shut your bleep a up. So we later heard kids yell. I believe it was directed at an adult,
at a teacher,
who was speaking. They go, Saibow. And so we now know what that means, and we're able to correct that. But before doing a little research, we didn't know. And now you know.
Now you know.
All right. I think
we covered them all.
Covers it. So what we're trying to teach, and hope that you can teach as well, is the lesson of a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So does the word choice impact the message that they're trying to send? So if they're trying to get across like, hey, I'm demanding respect in this conversation, if they're using text speak along the way, or anything like that, it probably is going to impact the message that they're trying to send. So just having them consider their word choice in that moment and what they're trying to convey. Mm-hmm. The next thing for them to consider would be, is their audience likely to understand? If they're talking to a group of adults and they're using a lot of slang, then they may not have the reception to their content that they're thinking they're going to get, because their audience doesn't understand what they're saying. And then the final thing to consider with time and place, so it's appropriate to the message, appropriate to the audience, and then is the conversation supposed to be formal or informal? So if they're giving a presentation in class for a grade, that's not a time to be using slang. But if they're having a conversation with a friend at lunch, that would be an informal time when slang would be appropriate. So kind of teaching them the where and when and with who is part of that conversation about when slang can be used and when it's appropriate.
Yeah. Which I think it's reasonable to say we all have had that conversation
Mhm.
a time or two, maybe
Yep.
even for ourselves in our younger
Yeah.
years. So
Even things like swear words.
Yes.
They're not slang, but swear words have a time and a place too.
yeah. All right. Okay, so support. So again, practice defining the right time and place for slang. Ask questions for clarification, and communication is key. Like, you're going to hear that from us all the time.
Mhm.
Communicating with your kids and learning like what is their intent, and even who is their audience when they're sending these things. That is so huge, and we're working on that as well.
Yeah.
Trying to just communicate and understand, seek to
Mhm.
understand, and then reach out to us or any other resources that you may have if you have concerns. We don't know about problems if you don't reach out or if kids aren't telling us.
Yep.
And so definitely reach out because we want to partner with you guys.
Mhm.
All right. So if you have questions, you can leave it in the comments. Our contact information was on the second slide, I believe. And so if you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. That's why we're here.
Mhm.
And if you are interested, you please catch us on a in-person coffee with the counselor. We'd love to have coffee with you. But let us know your thoughts in the comments, or
And then the next.
send us emails.
Yep.
We have resources that'll be on our webpage, and we'll link some of the we'll have the links to the content in the description.
Yep. Here's our contact information if you want to reach out to us directly. Again, it was also on that second slide. So we've got our emails, our direct lines, and then our different websites and social media handles if you want to check out any of our other resources. And then next month, you can join us in person. We're switching to Wednesdays. Thank you for those of you that responded with great feedback about times that would be better to host this event. So we will be getting together Wednesday, November 19th, and we're going to be talking about the College Bound Scholarship. So kind of shifting focus from more of our person-to-person social things and taking a look at what you can already be doing for post-secondary support. So we hope to see you in November to talk about the College Bound Scholarship.
All right.
All right.
See you later, Coug parents.
Bye, Cougs.